Okay, so today we are here to talk about FE Prep University. It's our university program that we offer specifically for the FE exams. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over the agenda. First, we're going to do a brief introduction of both myself and also the company, PPI. We're going to go into an overview of what the FE Prep University program is. And then I will walk through a series of demos so that you can visually see how to both enroll into the program as a professor or an administrator, and then also how students enroll into the program. And then the big event of the session here is the demo of the material. So I'll walk you through our Learning Hub learning management system that will show you all of the web books and quizzes and practice exams and study schedules, everything that the student gets for their FE exam preparation. And then I will go over the reporting that instructors, either professors or whoever's administering the program at your school, there's a series of reports that you have for tracking student activities. So I will walk through a demo of those reports, and then we'll end with any sort of questions. If you, like I said previously, if you do have questions during the session, feel free to put them in the chat box, and Katie will let me know, and then we can also answer questions at the end. Perhaps at that time, I can take everybody off mute and you can verbally ask your questions then as well. So just a brief introduction of myself so you know who is speaking with you today. My name is Jenny Sly, and I'm the Senior Manager of Product, specifically Engineering Product for PPI/Kaplan. So PPI was acquired by Kaplan in 2018. So we are still PPI, but we are under the Kaplan North America umbrella. I've been with the company for 9 years, and I specifically manage all of our university, corporate, and affiliate programs, in addition to running all of our course operations and instructors. So these are, what we call our retail courses for students, our engineers that are preparing for the FE, PE, or SE exams. And then just a little brief introduction on PPI. PPI was founded in 1975 by Michael Lindeberg. Some of you might know him as an author. He's also the founder of this company. So he wrote books like the FE Review Manual. It was like the big yellow book that people used for decades. And then also the Civil Engineering Reference Manual is probably his most popular book. I think every civil engineer has used that to prepare for their exam. But we are the leader in engineering and architecture and interior design exam preparation. So these are the FE and the PE, but also the ARE exams, and then the NCIDQ interior design exams. Like I mentioned on the previous slide, PPI, we have been around since 1975, and then in 2018, Kaplan acquired us to be the engineering branch of the company. So that's been a really exciting last few years, being under the Kaplan umbrella, having all those resources and support. And then lastly, at PPI, our biggest mission outside of obviously having students pass their exams is we always keep our materials up to date. So exams, the exam boards really like to change the exams a lot. Either specifications change, codes change. All exams used to be paper and pencil. Now most of them are computer-based. And with that, the exams went from open book exams to closed book exams, where only students can reference one electronic handbook during the exams. So there's a lot of changes that happen every single year. And we offer a lot of materials for exams, and we always make sure that at the end of the day, our materials are always up to date to whatever the current exam specifications and formats are. Okay, so just a little bit about FE Prep University. I'm just going to verbally walk through some of this stuff, and then I think after this slide, I'm going to hop into and do some demos so you can actually see what it looks like. So we are a one-stop training program for all 7 of the FE exams. So chemical, civil, electrical, mechanical, industrial, environmental, mechanical, and other disciplines. We have materials and programs for all 7 of those. And I know that that was a really big pain point for universities when the exams changed. I know it's been, 7 years now. I think it was 2014 that they changed. But previously, students would take, one general FE exam in the morning and then have a discipline-specific afternoon. But in that 2014 change, all of the exams changed to be specifically all FE Civil or all FE Chemical. And with that, I know a lot of professors and others that ran courses at the time, it was hard to develop and teach materials for all of those different exams. So this is why we came up with FE Prep Universities. We really wanted to be that resource for universities to implement our program instead of coming up with everything from scratch. We do have custom group reporting, so students are enrolling under a specific university group code of yours. And with that, any activity they're doing, whether it be quizzes or practice exams, you can view how they're doing, even down to the knowledge area. How they're doing on each specific knowledge area. If you assign a quiz or a practice exam for homework, you can grade based on how they did on those. Probably one of the biggest selling points of the program is the pricing. So with the university program, we have to have either a professor or a program administrator at the school first initiate the enrollment of the program. So once you sign up, students get a 70% off our retail price using special promo codes, or if the school is paying for it, it would be free for the student. So that kind of goes into our next one with the flexible purchasing options. Even with the heavy discounting that we provide for the university market, we allow either a student to pay that discounted amount, or the university can pay that discounted amount on behalf of the student and essentially provide a student with a redemption code where they would enroll in the program. It would zero out their order, and then they can start accessing it. So we have either option available. Easy implementation. There really is not much to do outside of signing up. We provide you with codes to distribute to your students for them to enroll, and then they have 6 months of access to all of their materials. Outside of that, there is really no setup or implementation involved. It's something that we can get rolling at a university within a day. So it's very fast, very instantaneous. And then we have a customer service team, including myself here. I do help a lot with the account management of the universities. So you will always have somebody that can help with any questions, or if something's not working properly. We're here within 1 business day. We're always here to help. And then on the right side here, these are all of the different materials that students get once they enroll into the program. So there's a custom study plan where they can actually input their exam date, what days of the week they do or don't want to study. Maybe they're going on a vacation at some point, and it will create a custom study plan for them. We have diagnostic exams by topic, so they can take these beforehand and try to target where their strengths and weaknesses are. We have web books of the review manual and the practice problems books that are by Michael Lindeberg. These are digital web books on the platform. It's the exact same content that you get from the print, just in a digital format. We also have digital flashcards for those key concepts, for reviewing those key concepts. And then the last two here are probably the most popular parts of the platform. The practice exams, each discipline, so if I'm an FE Civil student and I log in, I'm going to have 2 full-length practice exams. And these are very representative of what they're going to experience on exam day in both the format of how we're presenting it on the screen, like that split screen with the reference handbook and the practice exam on the right, and also just how we've weighted each question or types of questions within the topic. So if, 20% of the exam is on statics, we make sure that we have questions that are representative of that allocation. And then the last thing here is the coolest thing that we have in the platform is the quiz generator. We have a giant database of thousands of practice problems that are organized by knowledge area, and students can go in and create quizzes. There's so much customization there as far as like what topics they might want to cover, how many questions they want. Do they want only quantitative or only non-quantitative? Do they want a practice mode or standard mode? So there's a lot of different customizations there on the quiz generator side, and I'll show you that in this presentation as well. And then, okay, so the very first step. So let's just say you're sitting here, you're interested in learning more or even enrolling. There's a web link, and I can send this out afterwards as well, but ppitopass.com/universities/signup. There's a brief form. It probably will take 1 to 2 minutes where you're just inputting basic information about yourself and how many students you think you might have. And you submit the form. PPI receives that right away. We look at the submissions. We validate that you are a valid instructor to use the program. And then we get you going by setting up a group code and redemption codes for your students to access the products. So what I'm going to do right now is exit full screen. I'm going to show you first demo here. So let's say you filled out this form, we received it, we said, great, let's sign up this person. So what we're doing in the back end is creating this 8-digit university code. So let's say you teach for Chapman University and this is for your fall 2021 semester. We're gonna create a code that says, CHAP FA21. And so when students enroll into that group, that is what's going to make it so that you can view reports on their activity later. So after you fill out this form, we're going to create this 8-digit group code for you. And we will also provide, whether you want to call them promo codes, redemption codes, product keys, they're all the same thing. It's basically so a student can go to our website and use that product key to then access their products. And then that group code is what ties them to your roster. So there's 2 codes going on here. And then as an instructor or an administrator, you're going to have your own dashboard. So right now, I am an instructor. I'm running a program. When I log in here, I see here that I can access my reports. I can manage my student groups. So let's say I want to, create a new group or view my roster. And then I can also purchase these product keys I was talking about. So if your school decides that you want to invest in this for your students and pay up front, you actually purchase product keys right online here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you that purchase button. So let's say we're in FE Civil. I would click FE Civil, add it to my cart. And then from here, I can adjust the quantity and then just check out using a credit card. So this is what a lot of our schools do. They purchase product keys on behalf of their students, and then we distribute the product keys to you for you to distribute to the students. So you can purchase product keys online here. this is if I click here to manage the student groups, this is what's going to take me into this instructor portion of our learning management system. I'm not going to go through this right now because I'm going to go through that in a little bit, but I just wanted to show you that you do have your own dashboard to get started once you just fill out that one form in the very beginning. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to the presentation for a second here. So that's the very first step, is filling out that form as an administrator. So now PPI has contacted you. We said your group code's CHAP FA21, and you said that you wanted 10 students in your class. So here's a list of 10 product keys. And you can distribute, and they're all unique. So, Brian in the class gets a product key, Shelly gets a product key, and they're going to go onto the PPI website and access their products using that key. So we have this other link here specifically for students, and I will go ahead and stop sharing again. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I'll exit full screen. Okay, so as a student, you would provide them with this link to go enroll. And we give you instructions that you then give to the students. So they're going to go to this link, and we have the 7 disciplines here. So I'll do civil here. I'm going to add it to my cart. Okay, so you'll see normally this 6-month product is normally $449. Under the university program, it's $145. So let's say the scenario is you have purchased product keys on behalf of your students and you want them not to pay anything. The student right here in this promo code field, this is that unique code I was talking about. They're going to apply this to their order, and you'll see it brings it down to $0. And then the student's going to check out just like a normal transaction, but that's not going to ask for any credit card information because it's free. Now, let's say you want to sign up your school, but the school doesn't want to pay for the students. We also have the student pay option where they're still going to get that $145 price, but it's going to be on the student to pay that. So I have another example of a code here. This code does something different that we've set up, and that brings it down to $145. So just depending on what route you go, it depends on what will dictate what type of code that we give you. It's either going to bring it down to $145 or all the way down to 0. So that's how a student enrolls, is just by going through a normal kind of retail process and using a promo code in the shopping cart. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into the actual platform so you can see the different types of materials that are available to the students. Let me go back out. Okay, so now I'm a student. I've gone through my transaction. I get an email from PPI saying you've enrolled. You're going to click this link to log into your account. So I am a student logging into my account. You'll see it looks very similar to what the instructor account looked like, but I don't have those instructor details here. I just have my product here. So if I want to access my product, I'm going to go click Learning Hub. And you'll notice throughout this demo, there's going to be pop-ups. We have a tour of every part of the Learning Hub on their first login. Or it's not even their first login, it's the first time that you access any part of the Learning Hub. You're going to have this kind of walkthrough tour of what to do. So I'm not going to go through all of that today, but it's just a kind of an extra benefit for the student to better know how to navigate. But it's first going to ask me what exam I'm taking. FE Civil. Let's just say I'm going to take it December 15th. And this will be important later when I set up my study schedule. Okay, so this is the Learning Hub. This is where students are going to access all of their materials. The very first step that we ask students to do as part of the instructions is to add their group code. So they use their unique redemption code, but now we need to get them onto your roster using that 8-digit code I was talking about. So if I click here and I type CHAP FA21 and I add the group, I'm going to get a notification that I've been successfully added. Now, when I go through and do any sort of activity, quizzes, diagnostic exams, or practice exams, you as an instructor or administrator can log into your portal and see in almost real time. I think it takes like 10 minutes for it to load. But in almost real time, you can see how that student did on that activity. Okay. So the very first thing I will show you is that study plan. So you'll see it because I input this at the very beginning, it knows I'm taking FE Civil, it knows what my exam date is, but should that have changed in the meantime, I can always change it here. So you can specify what day you'd like your study plan to start. Let's say you enrolled, but you know your school doesn't really start until September 1st, so you might want to put a different date there. I'll just use today, but you can dictate when it starts. I know that I'm not going to study on Fridays or Saturdays, so I can uncheck those. I also know that I would like to go to the Bahamas August 16th through the 23rd, so I don't want to study then. And then I can create this custom study plan based on these parameters that I've set. So you see here, there's another pop-up walking you through the study schedule. There's two different views for the study plan. There's this kind of long list view where it's going to break it down by week. So, week of 8/22, you're going to be doing mathematics and statistics, and it's going to walk you through every single activity associated with that topic. If I can open a task and it'll take me right to that topic within that specific product. I can mark things as complete as I'm done, and it'll populate a progress for me. I'm personally more of a visual person, so I like this calendar view a bit better. So you'll see with the calendar view, let's go to August here. You'll see I'm not studying this week because I'm on vacation and I have the weekend off here. But if I click into mathematics and statistics, I'm going to get that same information I had on the other screen, but just over here. And you'll see that progress here. It's going to tell me like the percent completed, days until my exam. So this is a really good structure for students to have, especially since the exams are year-round now and students can take their exam individually at any time that they want. We wanted to make a study plan that was specific to their situation. Okay, so that is the study plan. If you go under my products here, this is where you're going to access all of the products. So the first thing here are the web books. We have the review manual and the practice problems book. So like I mentioned before, this is the exact same book as our print book, just in a digital format. So if I go to the table of contents here and I know it's calculus week, I can easily hop right over to that topic. And you'll see within our web books, anything that has these blue boxes with these call outs here, this is, we updated all of our content to align with the NCWS reference handbook. So we're telling students, this is where you're going to find that equation that you need that's associated with this specific topic. So this is throughout all of our products. And then on the side here, what we did is, in print form, we have a review manual and a practice problems book. On the digital form here, what we do is we've actually integrated the two because they are companion books. And so any practice problem that was associated with chapter 4 of calculus is actually on the side here. So I can go through and answer questions directly related to calculus from that practice problems book as I'm going through and reading. That was actually an idea that we got from student feedback, is that it was kind of hard flipping between the review manual and the practice problems book in a digital format. So that's why we kind of made this split screen experience where now all the content's in one place, and it's specific to whatever topic they're in. Outside of that, it's just kind of, basic features here, like you can change the font size or type, you can zoom in or out, add notes, bookmarks, so that when you come back, you can easily access those later. So this is a big part of the study plan, is, actually going through those chapters and reviewing the material there and answering those corresponding practice problems. And then the quiz generator is what I talked about briefly before. So here you can choose quantitative, non-quantitative, or both. I'm just going to do both. We have two modes here. So let's say you want your students to have that quiz experience. That would be a standard mode where it is timed based on that average of like 3 minutes per question that the exam board recommends. So it's timed and you can't see your solutions until the end. But let's just say students want to practice and they don't really care about the time part, or they want to see their solutions as they go. They would pick this practice mode. So I'm going to do the practice mode just so you can see what that looks like. I'll just do like a 5-question quiz. You'll see here, it's dynamics week. So I'm going to I can name my quiz so I can easily come back and reference it later. And I'm going to start my quiz. So you'll see the multiple choice here. So let's say I do A. Because I'm in practice mode, it's going to show me that it's incorrect and what the correct solution is. If I go to the next one, oh, that is correct. So all of our problems have full solutions associated with them. So a student is always going to be able to see how we got to that solution. So they can see it here, and then I'll show you at the end, there's a kind of a final report where they can see all of the solutions there as well. But let's just say I got this one wrong, and this is something that I want to come back to later. I can flag this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to submit the quiz, but let's just pretend, I went through the entire 5 questions. So this is where I'm going to get this individual report. And you'll see here that it says untimed because we were in practice mode, but if we were in a standard mode, it actually would populate the average time per question. That's to really help with the students with their time management. And it's going to give me a rundown of every question here. And then here's that pop-up of the solution. Let's just say there was an error somewhere. You can actually report an error directly from here, and we get those updated very quickly. Obviously, since everything's digital, students get access to that updated content as soon as it's published. You can also save a PDF report of your report. So say you want students, I don't know, to submit something. You could have them download this and then submit it to you. So that's the quiz generator. We have flashcards. So with the flashcards, these are also discipline specific. So you'll see there's 732 total just for FE Civil. I don't think anyone's going to go through all of those in one sitting. So I'm just going to do a dynamics set and generate a new set specific to that topic. And now we have the 19 that are specific to that topic. So these are really meant to be more of a review of those non-quantitative topics. more definitions, conceptual. This isn't meant to be a practice problem type of area of the learning management system. So if I click here, what is Joule's laws? All I do is click on the card and it flips it over and it gives me the answer. And then I can go to the next one. I can also flag, add notes, etc. And before I forget to mention it, this learning management system is completely mobile friendly, tablet friendly, responsive. So students can access this from any sort of device. But it is a web-based product, so it's not something that students are downloading onto their computer for accessing offline. You do have to be online in order to access the different products. And then the last two things here, both of these products, the diagnostic exams and the practice exams, these use the same interface, which we made look like the actual NCWS practice exam. So with the diagnostic exams, we schedule these throughout their studies, and we schedule it like so before they start certain topics, they're going to take this diagnostic exam and just get a better feel for where they're at within that topic. And maybe they don't, they got 100% on dynamics and a 20% on statics. Maybe you don't need to study as much on the dynamics side of things. So these are really helpful for just kind of getting a gauge of where you are. For the purposes of the demo, since it does use the same interface, I'm going to show you the practice exam. So like I mentioned before, each discipline has 2 full-length practice exams. So if I click into the practice exam here, the very first thing it's going to ask me to do is I can upload that NCEES reference handbook. So that in there. It is a very large file. I don't know how many of you have seen it. So it'll take a moment. So again, this is the only reference that students can have during the exam. So what we have them do is go to the NCEES website, download it for free, and then they upload it into our platform. I'm going to go ahead and skip the tutorial of the practice exam since I am your live tutorial here. And then so here is the exam-like experience that I was mentioning. The book is loading here. You see it's 500 pages. So this is very similar to what the student is going to experience on exam day. They're going to have this left side with the reference handbook and the right side with the practice exam. Probably the biggest feature, that they need to get used to is really searching this document. So I can search for keywords here, and it'll find what I need there. Especially, and that's why a big reason why we put those NCEES references throughout our products, so they can easily find those and look it up in the book and correlate it to their practice exam. You'll see it's timing me up here. It was that 5 hours and 20 minutes. We also even built in a break for the 25 minutes. One of the things that we added that obviously is not available on test day is this pause exam. So if someone doesn't have 5 to 6 hours to sit down and do a full exam, they can pause it and come back at any time and finish it. So this functions similarly to the quiz bank that I showed you, where you're just going to answer. You can actually flag things for review, like the other products. So once I'm done with my exam, I'm going to end the exam, and once I end the exam, I'm going to be taken to that exact same reporting screen I showed you before, where it had, average time per question and a breakdown of all of the different questions with the full solutions. So I'm going to get a report for that one as well. So that is the practice exam. So that wraps up the actual products that are available within the Learning Hub here. Again, it's the web books, the quizzes, the flashcards, diagnostic exams, practice exams, and then that study plan that I showed you from before. All right, we've got 2 more slides here. All right, so on the reporting side, I'm not going to go full screen because I'm about to hop back into another demo here. So now I'm going to take off my student hat, put on my instructor hat, and log in as an instructor. So I'm in the Learning Hub now. This is my instructor view of it. You'll see here, again, I can request a new group. My fall semester's done. Now I want a spring group so I can have my roster associated with that spring group. I can just request a new group right from this platform. But the best thing here is, oh, it's still, sorry, it has me logged in as the student. Let me go ahead and log out. Okay. So now that I'm back in instructor mode, I can go to reports here. So first I would select my group. What's cool about this is, a lot of our universities that have been using this program, they have multiple semesters and multiple groups. So if they ever wanted to go back and look at the data from when they first started versus now, there's going to be a longer list here of groups, and they can go back and access that at any time. So that's been really helpful, especially for those that may want to track, success over time. So for now, though, we have the one group associated with this instructor. You'll see I have 3 accounts here. 3 people have signed up for my group. So this is the very first tab. This will be my roster. I can see when they enrolled. Let's just say somehow someone got into the group and got a redemption code that shouldn't be there, or any number of reasons. You do have the ability to remove someone from your group. But this is the roster. And then if I go into the different products here, you'll see we have the quiz generator, the standard mode, quiz generator, practice mode, the practice exams, and the diagnostic exams. So within the quiz generator, there's not too much data here since we just have, three fake students going on. But what you'll be able to see is who the student is, how many attempts they had of a certain quiz, the average percent correct, the average time per question. And then you have this individual report where you'll actually be able to access, so if I click this and click view, I can see, this in a different format if I wanted to look at that specific report for that specific student. And then you'll see that we have every single knowledge area associated with FE Civil is here. And had we been taking quizzes throughout, this is obviously going to be all populated. You can export quiz scores up here. This is very important. So you can export this. It's just going to bring it into an Excel document for you. So you can easily sort scores and students this way. So we have this exact same format for all of the different practice quizzes and exams, practice exams, diagnostic exams, and the quiz generator. I will say it's about 50-50 on the usage of this reporting section. There's a lot of universities that really use these reports for tracking purposes, and You know, if you have like an actual course that you're running at your school for the FE exam, and you know, maybe there's credits associated with it, there are a lot of instructors that use this to really help them grade those and assign different assignments. And then you have the other half that really wants this to implement this program at their school just as like a benefit for the student. So they want to provide the student with either, you know, free access or that $145 price as opposed to the $449. And they want to just provide this as a benefit to the student to enroll under the 6 months, and you might not even care about the reporting part of it or really running anything. It's up to you how you use the program and what your specific needs are related to those reports. And then the last thing I have here is just this last slide. So I'm going to stop sharing pretty soon to see if there's any questions. But the main page that we have where you can access that form, that initial form that I was talking about, is this ppi2pass.com/universities. Or you're welcome to email me directly. Again, my name's Jenny Sly, and my email is jsly@ppi2pass.com. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and then see if there's